Maestro is a 1-speed free armor defender introduced in Rainbow Six Siege with the Operation Parabellum. Let's begin our guide by looking at what makes Maestro Maestro. His gadget, the Evil Eye, is a bulletproof camera which can transform into a slow-firing turret at his command. He gets 2 of these, which he can place on almost any surface. However, if the surface is destroyed, down goes the eye. Therefore, it is paramount to place it on unbreakable surface. I like to place them on door frames, which also lets the camera keep an eye on multiple rooms at once. Remember that as a 1-speed operator, Maestro cannot cover large distances in the preparation phase, therefore you do not have a lot of time to decide where you're going to place your cameras. If you're new to the operator or to the map, it might be a good idea to look at how many entrances the objective rooms have and point a camera to the path you predict the enemy might take. Alternatively, you may want to place a camera on the objective, making sure that it has the widest angle in the room. As you get more comfortable and more familiar with the camera and its functionality, you can place them a little further from the objective to track your enemies before they get too close to the objective. Now, let's explore its secondary function. Hold down the right mouse button and the camera will open its shutters. The camera is vulnerable to gunfire at this state, though you can now shoot a slow-firing laser burst by holding down the left mouse button. The laser deals 5 damage with each burst and can overheat within a few seconds of continuous firing, closing its shutters until it cools down to normal. While its shutters are closed, it is bulletproof. The eye can still be destroyed by explosives even when its shutters are closed, so frag grenades, Ash's grenade launcher, can all kill an eye in one shot. You can swivel the Evil Eye around to a greater degree than any other camera, but you can only do so whilst you are alive. Once you die, you're stuck looking at whatever your camera was last pointed at. Your allies cannot swivel the eye no matter if they are alive or dead. Therefore, it is a good idea to point it at the choke point before you switch out of it. This also means that you need to be alive for your team to make full use of your gadget. Maestro is not like Rook or Jaeger, whose gadgets remain fully functional even after they die. Therefore, it would be best if you kept your head down and used your evil eyes to scout for your team until you are the only defender remaining. If it does get to that point, remember to point both of your eyes to cover as many pathways and entrances as you can, so that your team can mark your enemies for you to gun down. Now that we have thoroughly examined the Evil Eye, let's examine how it differs from other cameras in the game. Valkyrie is the obvious candidate for comparison, as she too carries her own type of camera, one which can be controlled by her allies, no matter if they're dead or alive. The Black Eye, as her camera is called, is inconspicuous and fragile, and reckless use of it can get it destroyed. Case in point, spamming the scan button with it can alert enemies to its presence and often leads to them searching for it and shooting it down. The Evil Eye, on the other hand, is impervious to gunfire as long as its shutters are closed. Feel free to mash that scan button as often as you like. Maestro's Evil Eye can also peer through smoke, whilst Valkyrie's Black Eye cannot. Another area of difference is the range on both cameras. Valkyrie can throw her cameras out of the building like a grenade, whilst Maestro has to attach his Evil Eye to a surface like Jaeger's ADS. Enough with the gadgets. What about the guns? Maestro has 2 choices for his primary weapon, a light machine gun or an automatic shotgun. Fun fact, Maestro is the first defender to get access to an LMG. As to stats, the Alder LMG has an enormous 80-round magazine, which will enable you to deal with multiple threats in quick succession without having to pause or reload it. As for damage, it deals a base damage of 35, which makes for a 3-shot kill against 3-speed operators with a 4-shot kill against 2 and 3 armor operators. It fires at a rate of 900 rounds per minute, or 15 rounds per second. This translates to an output of 525 damage per second, equal to that of Sledge's assault rifle. At close range, its time to kill is 200 milliseconds against 3-speed operators, and 267 milliseconds against everybody else. The numbers speak for themselves. This is one of the best, if not the best, defender gun in the game. Its ability to equip an ACOG sight is the cherry on top. The ACOG and vertical grip are absolutely essential, though you can choose between the muzzle brake, flash hider, and compensator as you please. With such a fantastic weapon available, should you even consider its alternative? We shall, for the sake of being comprehensive. The ACS-12, modelled on the real-life AA-12, is also a first for Rainbow Six Siege, being the only fully automatic shotgun in the game. In theory, this is also a very impressive gun, with a capacity of 30 rounds and a fire rate of 300 rounds per minute. In practice, however, The obscene recoil and the poor range render this gun ineffective at anything beyond point-blank range. I wouldn't recommend using this gun outside of terrorist hunt. Just stick with the LMG, okay? Moving on to sidearms, Maestro again has two options. His first option is a shotgun in a revolver package. It has a low recoil for a shotgun and it's equipped with a reflex sight. It is no good at killing any target beyond point-blank range. However, it does have its uses in tearing down destructible surfaces, much like an impact grenade. This is particularly vital in the bomb game mode, where you can blow holes in the walls that separate the two bomb rooms. This way, you can have one camera keep an eye on both objectives. In summary, think of it less of a gun and more of a sculpting tool. Maestro's second sidearm is a revolver, the only revolver in the game that can equip muzzle attachment. This is the only gun in the game that I'd recommend a silencer on, as even with reduced damage, it is a two-shot kill against all operators regardless of their armor rating. That being said, however, Maestro is not a particularly stealthy operator, so you may want to opt for the muzzle brake instead. The recoil is negligible to begin with, though reducing it further can never hurt. On to his secondary gadgets, he has two choices, deployable shield or barbed wire. The deployable shield synergizes well with Maestro's purpose. You are stationary and vulnerable while you operate your evil eyes, and the deployable shield will protect you from enemy gunfire. You can forego the shield for two barbed wire if your spawn point has a crevice for you to cover in. I seldom do this myself as I find the shield indispensable for my playstyle. The barbed wire is pretty generic and is easily disposed of. It wasn't always this way, however. Indeed, there was a time where barbed wire was obligatory, but after numerous nerfs it isn't what it used to be anymore. As far as Maestro is concerned, it is certainly not worth giving up on the defensive utility of the deployable shield. Now, if it was a C4 or an impact grenade, that would be a choice worth considering. And that just about wraps up our guide on Maestro. Join us next time when we take a look at Alibi and her crafty decoys. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe and bell icon so that you won't miss our next guide.